Hey everybody, this is American Nana. It's been a hot minute. I'm trying to get things together a little better so I can put out my thoughts on YouTube in case there's anybody that is interested or I don't know agrees with me, wants to disagree with me. The Karen Reed case has opened my eyes wide open to a humongous problem with our judicial system as well as the laws in Massachusetts. You see, Karen Reed was tried and the jury, I think, was confused. And they did acquit her. Nobody has come forward and said, oh, no, we didn't. They did acquit her. And hands down, I know, although it's costing her a fortune, that she will be found not guilty on the trial starting on April 1st. But there needs to not be a trial. There should not be a trial. You see, my question about the justice system is I understand that you are supposed to make it equal, basically. You know, the person that is on trial is assumed innocent until proven guilty. But how in the world do you try to prosecute a woman for murder? There is no eyewitness. There is no confirmation that the vehicle she was driving struck Officer John O'Keefe. And if you listen to the medical examiner and you understand that it was the blunt force trauma to the head and hypothermia. Now, it's very interesting when you listen to this because once he sustained the trauma to the back of his head, at that point in time, he was delivered incapacitated. Maybe the defense needs to spell that out a little bit louder. In other words, where Officer John O'Keefe was found should be where he succumbed under whether he was hit, being backed into, or somebody belted him or whatever. Would have happened right there. Or it would happen elsewhere and then he would have had to have been placed there. I think that's very important to understand because when they're trying to talk about Karen Reed causing this by backing into him, it's impossible. It's just impossible. It, now you're going to tell me that a vehicle rolled up halfway in that yard, hit him, and then rolled out. Nobody saw it. Just like nobody's seen a huge man laying in a blanket of white snow as your headlights are on and you're driving past the yard. Impossible to believe that. But the jury was confused. And that's the judge's fault. As much as, I will say, I didn't know anything about Beverly Canoni until I watched the trial. I didn't know anything about any of it until I watched the trial. And as I watched the trial, I thought she was a very rude judge. I noticed that she huffed and puffed more than, Smokey the Bear. She was always put out with the defense, always. So I don't know, is the defense supposed to stand there and, I'm guessing, step it down a notch? I mean, put it down into terms that regular folks would understand? Those that can't read between the lines? Because if you have any doubt that Karen Reed was guilty, if you had any doubt that she did not do that, if you thought she didn't do it, but wait, could she have done it? But wait, no, because of this. Okay, that's doubt, people. That's doubt. And if you have any doubt, then you have to vote not guilty. I couldn't understand for the life of me where the prosecution started, where his middle was, and where he ended up. I'll be honest with you. I was wondering, that's the most long, drawn out bag of wind I have ever seen in my life with no evidence. That's the other thing, evidence. So sadly, I'm guessing that the defense needs to say, look, we don't know what happened to John O'Keefe. All we know is Karen Reed took him by his request, possibly by his demand, to the after party at the McAlberts. She left him there. He never told her that to come in. He never told her he was staying. He'd get a ride home. He never said anything. Well, she leaves. That's what we know. Now, because the police did not do a thorough investigation, there was, make that very clear to people that can't read between the lines, the lack of evidence that was brought out. The lack. Everybody, every young person, everybody that works in any type of that kind of condition knows how important it is to have a photo. Take a picture. Everybody's got their cameras out. I forget. I get all wrapped up in a minute and I forget. But not this generation that's out there right now, because they live by those things. If you are a police officer, ask yourself, how can any of their testimonies be true? 29 years as a police officer? Why didn't anybody ask them? Why didn't anybody take a picture of the car? Why didn't anybody take a picture of Officer John O'Keefe, where he was located. Why didn't anybody try to mark where he had been? That would have been pretty easy once they got him into the ambulance because it's still fresh. It's still right there. And it's going to get covered by snow, but you could have gotten something called a stake. I think it's STAKE, fellers. You could have put a stake and said, this is where his hands was. This is where his head was. This is where his feet were. I mean, come on. And then you got the select board saying, you know, okay, I got to quit, because then you got people that are saying they thought it was remarkable that they thought that much. Are you kidding me? Don't look in the house where the dead guy's laying on the lawn. And I mean no disrespect to Officer John O'Keefe when I say that. They're the ones that called him the guy. Tell him the guy never came in the house. Oh, hair bothering me. So we have Officer John O'Keefe laying out, and for all intent and purposes, everybody knows that he's not going to survive. Nobody, but nobody, seems to care if the people in the house, that they're on their property, you don't care if they're alive or dead, because you're not even going to go knock on their door. That's how much you know about policing and protect and serve, right? For all you people knew, the entire house at 34 Fairview could have been full of bodies of people that had succumbed to getting shot, drank something wrong. I mean, after all, he was a highfalutin Boston cop who dealt with that kind of criminal. But yet, he slept with his doors unlocked, and he had no surveillance cameras. I mean, I can think through the lines for all that, but apparently some cannot. You see, it's not an argument about I mean, I think the defense needs to really spell out to the jury that because there was no investigation, that, I mean, you can't honestly call that an investigation, because there was no proper and thorough investigation. Nobody knows what happened to Officer John O'Keefe. Plain and simple, nobody knows. You have some females that have stated, she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Uh, that was McLaughlin. She said 4 times, I believe. I counted 4 on something. And then everybody else would say it 3 times. And so that was Jim McCabe after McLaughlin. McLaughlin spoke to, I believe it was Proctor, the day after. He didn't bother to talk to any of the other people that day. I'm sure she wasn't the only one working that shift still there. Makes you wonder, right? And then the other people on the stand did say that, yeah, that's right, and they probably overheard her, something like that. But you're going to have to spell it out. Don't leave anything for common thought, gentlemen and ladies, because, and common thought seemed to be a little bit of a reach for some people to grasp. Now, because it's the judge's fault, in my opinion, that the jury had no idea, had no clue if they could turn in that verdict slip saying not guilty on number 1, hung on number 2, and not guilty on number 3. That's what caused their impasse of those charges. I had hoped so desperately that the Supreme Justice would set a precedence so that this never happens to any other individual on trial again. If you are up and you have multiple charges, as a judge, it's your responsibility to make sure the jury understands that yes, you can. As a matter of fact, judges, when they say they're at a standstill or they're at an impasse and the judge calls them out and then asks, did they come to an agreed decision on verdict one? On count one, not asking you about your deliberation, just a simple, and I'm directing this to the foreman. Did you, as a jury, come to any decision unanimously on count one? It's either a yes or a no. Did you, as a jury, come to any decision unanimously on count two? Yes, Your Honor. Okay. And what was that? He's talking to the foreman the whole time. Not guilty, Your Honor. And then the judge simply says, say you all, or you all, if anybody disagrees, raise your hand or something. You're not asking them how they came to the decision. But you as a judge should know better. And for the Supreme Court to not see the railroad that happened and that the confusion and that something needs to be done. So this not only sets an innocent woman free who they've already unanimously decided count one and count three she's not guilty of, but you'll also set a precedence that this is how every single judge should be questioning the foreman when there is a hung jury on more than one count. I don't know how it is in other states or if it's just a come as you please and go if you want and ask if you want. I don't know what you guys, I don't know, but that's not justice. What is happening to Karen Reed is not justice. Plain and simple, it's not justice. And all because the jury didn't know and the judge didn't bother to ask. So on round two, more truth will come out. Maybe it'll be more clear because as I was going to say before, and I just went off on I don't know where, I never could figure out what Lowley's, it was like he was all over the place. Like he wasn't laying anything out. He was confusing people. And it was so long and drawn out. And at the end of it, the defense only took a few days because really and honestly, my mind was made up long before. And if I would have been in that jury room, and that has had an argument, I tell you what, I would have been saying, "Oh no, this isn't right." I would have been vocal. If the foreman would have said, "We can't write a note like that and send it," I'd say, "Well, somebody better do something because I'll go ask her myself." Somebody should have stood up. Somebody should have done something, but they didn't. Do I blame them? No. Some of them were probably afraid of those people. And the jurors were intimidated by the McAlberts on the day of closing. So the McAlberts got what they wanted. I personally feel there was somebody, maybe the hand chose foreman. Beverly had no problem choosing her foreman. Maybe the foreman was supposed to make sure she got something because, after all, somebody had to pay. Somebody should have to pay. Why no one has come forward that knows the answers? I'm gobsmacked. I'm so let down. Maybe the jurors don't understand how a police investigation should work. Maybe we need to get a police officer that is not connected with anyone at all and ask them what the protocol would be if you had come out to this call. What would you have done? Step by step. I mean, to me, common sense number one, obviously, once he is taken care of, you would need to be figuring out how to mark where he had been. Photos should have been taken. I mean, everybody had a cell phone. And I'm talking about the officers. Jen McCabe, she was calm and just walking around. She could have taken photos. Anybody could have taken a photo. Anybody. Same with Karen Reed's car when Proctor went to get it at her dad's. Brush the snow off, dude. Take a picture. Get all the evidence you can against her. Get it, dude. Did you do that? No. May I ask why? Absolutely, you may ask why. It's because there wasn't anything to see yet. The jury still didn't get it. Nobody's listening. Nobody gets it. And I tell you what, from what I understood, that $200,000 um, payment going to that company to check on the police force there in Canton, didn't they do away with that committee? Isn't the chief of police in charge now? Are y'all all inbred? Is that what's going on? I mean, what is it? What is it? There's just no way. And you know, for another time I'll have that discussion, but I just am gobsmacked that the SJC, they did this. I mean, where next? Where next? Because that that decision is wrong. I'm sorry, you judges. That decision is wrong. Unfortunately, it appears there needs to be a change in Massachusetts. You need to spell it out for your judges that reside on these benches. Okay? You need to spell it out. That if it has more than one charge, you're going to have to ask them if they came to a unanimous decision on any of the other charges. And if they say yes, then you're going to have to go down, charge 1, charge 2, charge 3, whatever, and you're going to have to make decision then. Anything other than finding that out, it's not just. Do you understand? There's no justice in that. The Commonwealth, they were relieved that she was, if she couldn't be found guilty, they were just so excited that they get another bite at it. Oh, and another bite at it. Let's close with this one. A motion that I swear should not even be spoken of. It shouldn't even be considered. I'd never heard of that. Maybe it's a for real thing around the place, but um, if you got to be kidding, right? That you expect to get all impeachment material they plan to use, basically. You see, I watched Jennifer McCabe squirm in her seat as she answered the questions about Officer Lang. She made that up because she had been given the warning, just like the butt dialing folks and then getting rid of their phones the day before because they were warned. And no, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do have common sense. And this ain't a coincidence, folks. It's not a coincidence. It's just amazing. So I've got a lot more thoughts and a lot more opinions, and I plan to share them on a more regular basis. For anybody who wants to know, this will be a little personal note, but you know, I'm up there in my age, and I chase a 3-year-old grandbaby during the day, and then 7-year-old one after school, and a 10-year-old one after school, and my daughter, and there's 3 little whippersnappers all live here with my husband and myself, and my husband works, so and you got to cook, you got to clean, and you got to have quiet time. And my quiet time, by the time my quiet time comes, I'm normally just like, you know, I just pop my neck. I'm normally gonna just never about be falling asleep anymore. Used to, I was up till 2, 3 in the morning, 3, 4 in the morning, and get up and be able to maintain. But I can't do that anymore. It's been a while. So, but I do have a lot of things on my mind about this, and I hope that y'all will follow my opinions. Leave me a comment. Let me know your opinions. And the next video that I'm going to put out is we're going to talk about Judge Janine from Fox News. I need to find out first off if she was a real judge. Then I need to find out if she's retired. And if so, maybe she's got dementia or something. because she was up here, folks, on national. I'm guessing it was nationally broadcasted because it's Fox News, right? So I guess it's on the news, on the TV too, and the computer. So she's up there on it, on Fox News telling the world a bunch of hogwash, literally. And you notice nobody corrected it. Some of the stuff came out of her mouth. I mean, lies, not even just misinformation. I mean, Carrie Roberts, Jennifer McCabe, Karen Reed's friends. Are you serious? I mean, really. And it didn't happen in Boston. She said it happened in Boston. Boston. No, it happened in Canton. It happened in Canton, Massachusetts. Nobody knows for sure what happened, Janine. But anyway, that'll be my next one because I've made a couple, and in all honesty, they're just a little bit too rude. Um, I had to I had to get out my original feelings first before I could actually do a video fit for others. So I think I've calmed down enough that I can at least sound like a decent human being while I do it. But anyway, I don't know if anybody's going to pay attention. I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing it, but the SJC of Massachusetts just leaves me gobsmacked. So hopefully about 2 days or maybe less, I'll get you another video. Um, this one on Janine. I have a lot of videos right here, hoping I can come up with the time. So y'all have a good night, good day. Stay nice. Be be a nice human. It's an easy, easy choice. Just do the right thing. You know, nothing better than the golden rule, in my opinion. So do the right thing. Just be nice. And tell the truth. You tell the truth, and you don't have to worry about what lie you told and getting all confused. And by being nice, you find that you become nicer. You see, we all have that little bee in us, right? And we can either grow that bee into something humongous, or we can say, I choose to be nice. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop with my rude, snarky thoughts, but I can still choose to be nice. So until we meet again, folks, have a good night and bye.